Okay. Right. Okay, we're good. We're good. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Odys Talks. It's going to be a terrific episode, and this show is naturally brought to you by Odys Global, your one-stop marketplace for age domains, websites, premium names, as well as several additional services, including fully managed hosting, 301 redirects, EAT audit, topic clusters. We've also recently launched the list to own feature. So if you spotted a domain or website that you consider fitting your business needs, you can now buy it in installments, right? You also can check our mentors. And by the way, Greg Elfrink, who's with us today, has just recently joined the program, so you can now book a coaching session with him. You can find him on the mentors page, which is included in the description box or just post wherever you're watching this live stream. Today I'm joined by three terrific people. Greg Elfrink of Empire Flippers, Saket. I always get confused how to pronounce your name. Okay, Saket Wahi. Is this correct?
Saket Wahi, yeah.
Saket Wahi, because I mean British people were referring to you as Saket, so I was kind of like confused. All right, yeah. And Viktoria Altman of BSPE Legal Marketing. Welcome, guys. Thank you very much for finding the time to do this. Why don't you go on and introduce yourselves? Add anything you want people to know about you that they might not know about you or not know you at all. You know, different people watch this show. Greg, why don't you go first?
Sure, yeah. So if anyone doesn't know who I am, I'm the head of marketing over at Empire Flippers. So every business or every domain you buy from ODYS to start a new business, when you're ready to sell that business, you come to me and I help you find a buyer. Or if you want to acquire a business already making money, I can help you do that too.
That was pretty concise, you know. Straight to the point.
Massive literature nerd. I write poetry. I send it to Vlad. He gives me 5-star reviews for my self-esteem. So that's something a lot of people don't know. Unless you're friends with me on Facebook, then you see me post poetry, though. So sorry if you're my friend on Facebook.
Yeah. All right, Viktoria.
Sure. So my name is Viktoria Altman. I run BSP Legal Marketing. I've actually built out a few small businesses and sold them before I became an SEO entrepreneur. And I do focus on attorneys, but I also focus on systemization, trying to get a company to the point where it can run well without me. And that, I would say, is my kind of primary expertise. I read a lot, I travel a lot, and that's it, I think.
Nice. Saket.
Yes, I'm Saket Wahi, and I've been in the SEO game since over a decade. And just 7 years ago, I got solely into PBNs and PBN side of things, which is a type of backlink not a lot of SEOs kind of talk about. So throw some light at me, you know. But yeah, so we do mainly link building services, and I just diversified myself into being a link building consultant. And now we have over 2,000 PBN sites where we link our clients, we provide guest posts, we provide niche edits, and then I have other interests in offline real estate, online real estate, and getting more into GV ventures and SaaS projects. So it's been a fun journey, all via SEO.
Awesome, guys. All right, let's kick it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Yeah, but no fighting. Just live.
Always gets me. I love it.
I love it too. I mean, I love Bruce Buffer's voice. Nothing like there's nothing better than Bruce Buffer's voice. Well, probably it may be inappropriate in some moments, you know, but yeah, we're not going to get into that. Anyway, to get things started, since I mentioned it in my introduction, Greg, you joined the Odys mentorship program. So I would like you to unfold a little bit on why you decided to join it and what can you provide to those that book coaching sessions with you through the program.
Yeah, sure. So, I've been with Empire Flippers for almost 8 years, and during that time, I've helped sell. I think I already mentioned like over 2,000 businesses, right? And out of those 2,000, made 78 a millionaire at the moment of exit, and I think I probably made over 100 now from different strategies and content I put out there. So, when you guys approached me, I thought like, hey, this would be awesome. Like, I enjoy talking to entrepreneurs. I like talking about building businesses. I'm a big marketing nerd, so I built Empire Flippers on the back of SEO and as well as some other stuff that we do. But I like, if you want to hire me as a mentor, I'm probably not the best guy for SEO. Probably Viktoria or Saket would be better than me. But in terms of like a holistic marketing strategy, from creative monetization, whether you want to exit at a certain value or maybe you want to acquire a portfolio of businesses, these are all things I can help you do. And I thought it'd be fun to partner with ODYS on it. So I said yes when you guys reached out to me.
Yeah, and you can now also run private D&D sessions.
Yeah. Yes, when you book a call with me, it's actually just a big clickbait. You think we're going to talk about 7-figure valuations, but we're actually going to start off with a level 7 fighter. So you got to work your way up to the valuation talk through the D&D campaign.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's a terrific. It's been a great idea to start this thing. Alex, our founder and CEO, had this idea about a year ago, and we launched it probably in May or June last year. And well, it's been avalanching for the past few months. We got joined by a few more great big names. Let's say, just to drop a few names: Robert Nixiel, Corey Gebush, who else? Jason Barnard as well. Yeah, Julian Goldie, by the way, who's been on the live stream, I think, last week. So yeah, he's also one of the new mentors. So the whole idea is to provide easy access to the industry's top minds, and it's just becoming like an amazing closed community of highly professional SEOs, marketers, business coaches, like mass singers, for example. So yeah, it's amazing. Speaking of the SEO journeys, SEO hustles, digital businesses, guys, you all started at different points with different things. Some of you worked for agencies, some of you started as entrepreneurs. What was the most probably let's say turbulent moment in your careers? Yeah.
Oh, I can take this one.
Easy question. Easy.
I'll take the easy one. So I started my business in March 2020 because I was a full-time travel blogger. I had sold another business and I had become a full-time travel blogger. And in March 2020, sitting on my couch in a rented house in New Hampshire, when I realized we were going to be shut down for a very long time, I figured maybe being a travel blogger is not the best idea at the moment. So I'd say that was a little bit scary to start something brand new, during COVID when nobody really knew what was happening. But the nice thing about this industry, right, is you can start with almost no money. I did get a small loan from the SBA, and that was how I started, with just a few $1,000s. And you can start with literally nothing. And as long as you're willing to do the work and listen to the gurus or listen to some gurus, you can learn the work pretty quickly. And yeah, so that was probably my toughest moment, just not knowing what I was going to do with the rest of my life.
Nice. Thank you, guys. Greg, Saket?
Yeah, for me, I think it was basically like just that quote, like SEO is dead, SEO is dead. And I thought of it multiple times. Is it going to be dead? And then when I slowly became like a PBN guy, I almost got canceled a lot of times because like back in the days, you can't be selling PBN links and branding it in a way that it's safe, So I think just around 2019, 2018, there was a lot of backlash for me. And I didn't know if I was going to stay with the same business model. But then I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to, follow my truth and just stick with what some of my clients were getting results from. And yeah, I just stick by with the few people who kind of supported me and just got out there. And I'm still waiting for SEO to be dead, but the results don't die, so I'm still here.
Yeah. SEO is dead, right, Greg?
I just shot a video where I was talking about the dreadful state of affiliate marketing, about how I've seen SEO die like 10 times in my career already. So yeah, I'm with the Saket. I think the most turbulent thing in my career so far has been being Craig Campbell's friend. I mean, he's on the screen right now. Like, I have probably lost years of my life due to that friendship, and he still has never paid me once as his VA, so that's rough. But in all seriousness, like, I think like right now is an interesting time for me. So on the back of like 2020 and 2021 were amazing times for business sellers in terms of M&A. There's a lot of crazy dry powder just flinging everywhere. And now that the COVID bump is over, and now that a lot of those big aggregators have died from like doing crazy stuff with the money that they raised, like reorienting Empire Flippers to a new set of buyers and also realigning sellers' expectations has been like a very difficult last year and a half or so in M&A. And I feel like a lot of my competitors don't talk about that because they raised money versus we're bootstrapped. So they're like, oh yeah, it's fine. They're wasting their money on a bunch of different stuff. But so it's been a rough market in terms of the M&A world. And that's been interesting to navigate. But things are coming back. Things are doing well again, or not doing well again, but doing better than they were. Like we just sold a $12 million business. So that's cool. But before that, like before EF, like I think my darkest time was trying to get out of the oil field because that's where I come from. I'm an old oil field roughneck in Alaska. I used to drill for petroleum and I hated it. They like throwing chains, mixing mud. I would have like a little notebook, my Halliburton notebook filled with all these niche sites about microwaves I'm starting. My boss would say, like, what are you doing, Greg? What is this madness you're talking about, right? So like just doing that career shift was probably my most turbulent time, being like getting myself to a place where I could do the career shift.
Yeah, wow, yeah. I mean, your stories are so different. And the thing I love about our panel today is that like all four of us, I mean, me included, deal with different stuff, but we're all somehow like connected to SEO. I mean, Odys is dealing with digital assets, like domains and websites. Viktoria is focused on local SEO. Saket is with PBNs. Greg is with the M&As and marketing stuff like that. But it's all like connected because it all gets down to search engine optimization at the end of the day in this business. I thought there was a question, but no, there's no question so far. By the way, speaking of questions, guys who are watching this live stream, if you have anything if you want to ask anything, you can just shoot a message in whether you're watching it on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn, and I'll read the question to the guys, and they'll be happy to answer it. Yeah, just to mention that. And speaking of like turbulent times, last year has been quite turbulent for affiliate marketing, as Greg mentioned, and SEO in general, for the rise of the artificial intelligence. Not the AGI, but still, right? It's all around the place. Everyone's using it. Some are building businesses based on ChatGPT, So I keep asking it all the time during all the episodes. So I'm going to ask you the same question. How are you handling this situation? How does it affect your business these days? Viktoria. Don't be shy.
I don't know who you're gonna call. All right. So
Victoria's
I
just
know
getting
that-
targeted to answer first. That's the hardest part.
So I know like the running joke is SEO is dead, right? And it's sort of like you've heard it 20 times. I think there is no question that Google is doing away with more natural search engine results on a page. Anybody who doesn't see that can't count. There is simply fewer natural websites, GMBs on a page. That's just the bottom line. So yes, I do think SEO is going to be not necessarily dead, but it's going to be getting more phased out in favor of ads, social media, as well as other things. One of my goals for the year is diversify to opportunities outside of SEO. And I can see the writing on the wall. I think if you stay with the marketing, there are always going to be ways to market. So we are diversifying into ads. We are doing a couple of other projects, which I'm not at liberty to discuss at this point. But certainly, I am not one of those people who thinks SEO will not change. I still think there is a ton of money to be made in SEO. It's still paying all my bills and then some. And thank God to the SEO gods. But I think you have to change with the times. You know, we're tech people. We can't be in denial of what's happening. So, you know, we are diversifying into different ventures, and I'm always keeping an eye open for new things. But to be honest with you, my problem right now is there are so many ways to make money in marketing that my biggest problem is just to focus on the couple of things I really want to pursue. So while SEO might be sick, online marketing is alive and well, and will be alive and well probably for as long as my grandchildren are around.
And by the way, there is a question from Craig Campbell. Any pool size strategies at SEO events?
Oh, Craig.
Yeah.
Don't go into the adult pool. That's my only SEO strategy, and everybody who knows that story knows what I'm referring to.
What's the story? I probably missed it.
I'm not at liberty to disclose.
All right. So
You
if
may
anyone
wanna
is
ask
interested in
him.
that story,
You
just
may
reach
wanna
out to
ask
Craig
Craig
privately.
Yes, he will tell that story in his beautiful Scottish accent. You will understand none of it, but it will be very funny.
Well, everything you need to start understanding Craig Campbell is to spend just at least half an hour talking to him. That's it. That'll just click something and turn something on in your brain, and you'll start understanding him. Yeah. All right. Getting back to my question, Saket, what's going on in your area?
I think it's just the AI revolution. It's been a blessing because the more high-end business people I'm working with right now, they're leveraging a lot from AI and they're becoming better SEOs for what I see. And I think it's just a great time to be alive, like doing SEO. And since the AI revolution, like my business boosted like 3 or 4x, and I could just see like a lot of people just automated a lot of the on-page stuff, and they could just focus more on link building and have more budgets for link building. So in a way, I feel like it's been a blessing. It's just that how long this blessing is going to be here for, because there are always two sides of the coin, and I'm not kind of being in ignorance of the other side of the coin. But for now, like, it's just, yeah, you have to level up. If you are not ranking stuff with AI, like, it's time to level up, buddy.
Good one. This really reminds me of the last conversation, chat with Adam Chronister several weeks ago. Yeah, this is precisely the approach he's taken with his company. He's automated tons of things, boosted the company's revenue, even. I think he developed some ebook writer based on ChatGPT or something like that, and he was teasing releasing the ebook the other day on his Facebook page. So yeah, it's an opportunity, like with all the new good things, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in agreement with what they said as well. I'm of two minds on it. In 2023, when it first came out, it crushed affiliate site sales. Like, I think in 2022 we sold 189, and last year we sold like 89. So a big part of that was fear. Like when ChatGPT first came out, all the SEO was like, Google's gonna die next week. It's all over, right? Like obviously that wasn't happening, but the hype train like kind of led that fallout in sales, and then things got okay again, and then helpful content update came and crushed affiliate sites yet again. So just 2023 was a pretty bad year for if you're an owner of a content site. But with all that said, like I think AI represents a massive opportunity. Now, if you are, in my view, like buying a content site, I think is still a good deal. If you don't limit yourself to say just affiliate and display ads, because that's like the lowest of the revenue food chain. And if I look at the other businesses on our marketplace, our own business, and like my friends who are doing SaaS or e-commerce with a heavy SEO background, they're doing fine. Like they didn't have nearly as a turbulent year as my affiliate friends did. So I think like if you're going to go forward with SEO and with the looming threat of AI, SGE, all this kind of stuff, is you should really consider how you can level up your revenue food chain, because margins on affiliate sites are good, but like they're better than e-commerce technically, but the profit's so much better with e-commerce. So like it opens you up to like what Viktoria is saying, like going after other marketing channels, and while utilizing the opportunity that Saket is talking about from an SEO perspective as well. Like there's just so much juice left to squeeze from SEO. Like I don't think the opportunity is going to significantly change within the next 5 years, but as they said, like I do think it will change, and I think every entrepreneur needs to just come to terms with the cycle of grief on that, whichever way it goes, and prepare themselves by allowing their business to have multiple marketing channels, multiple ways to make money, and ideally owning the entire customer lifecycle rather than, you know, as an affiliate or a display ad person where they click that link and that's not your customer, that's whoever owned the offers customer, right? So that would be my advice. Like figure out a way that you can own your customer and own the offers.
There's a question from Kezra for Greg. Do you like cookies? What's your thoughts?
Craig has turned me off from cookies completely. That's another VIP Craig Campbell story everyone should message Craig about. It took place in Barcelona at a 5-star hotel. It was a very strange TikTok. But anyways, like if you mean the cookies in terms of like cookies going away on the digital marketing landscape, I actually think it's a good thing, which is an unpopular opinion. Because I'm a creative guy, I'm a creative marketer. I'm not much of a technical person. That's why most of my SEO friends can talk shop all around me when it comes to SEO. But I think a cookieless future in the digital marketing universe is like giving power back to the creative in terms of like the brand messaging, positioning, all this stuff. So the time of the day trader marketers, what I always call the people using the cookies, I think is kind of dying out. It's going towards the end, at least in paid ads. So yeah, there's my joke answer and the serious answer on the cookies for Castra.
Well, Kezra, thank you for the questions. There are 2 questions. Hope this answers them. Yeah, thanks, Greg. Getting back to the digital business conversation topic. So today is the perfect opportunity to scale your business or to diversify your income streams, income channels, let's say. So apart from SEO, let's say, but still remaining in the digital business frame, let's say, right? What would be your go-to, let's say, choices for making money? Yeah, don't be shy. Just go on if you have any thoughts.
For me, I think digital products. I think digital products are e-commerce. Ideally, both combined. I think that gives you the greatest flexibility to do the greatest amount of things across as many marketing channels as you can do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You'll have to book a mentor call with me to find out why. Like that CTA.
That was a good one.
I might. I have a company that did digital products back in 10 years ago, and we did very well with it. And then I just kind of abandoned it. It's still around. Maybe we'll go back to it at some point. I agree. I agree with Greg. I think digital products is a great one. I think advertisement is great. I think anything to do with security is going to be huge, right? With the advent of AI, we're going to get way more security threats. So if you are, even if you find one solution and you resell that same solution to a million different people, you can make a lot of money doing it.
You can cuss. You can cuss.
Oh, good. Made a shit ton of money.
That's the technical term for it. Yeah.
I am working on a solution that involves helping our clients realize their leads. So when they get a lead, instead of having that lead drop off, continue to work with the lead and nurture it, which I think is a very valuable thing if you can get people to convert their leads better. We're also working a lot with doing CRO, click rate optimization, doing a ton of experiments of how to get people to convert better on a website. Especially when you have to fight harder for traffic, you want to make sure that those people you do get convert as much as possible. So even something like CRO could be a totally separate product, which you could offer people with existing websites. You can offer it to anybody, including very large corporations, if you wanted to do it that way. So there's so much to do, honestly. Like the big problem is just not to be like this. The big problem is just to pick a couple of things and stick with them.
Abstain from the shiny object syndrome.
It's hard.
Saket, what are your thoughts?
For me, I think this is the best time to be alive, and there's so many opportunities in the digital space out there that you can just leverage it your way. For me, like through my personal brand, I get opportunities all the time, like in some SaaS projects, in some affiliate sites, in some, like joint venture partnerships, and with that kind of mindset, I think positioning is really important. So if you're positioned in high network groups, for me, like I don't have to think about money right now because it's just coming all the time. And I'm like, okay, I'll pick this. Maybe I won't pick this. Okay, I don't want to touch this. Okay, I'm definitely taking this. Okay, I'm gonna, So yeah, it's just positioning. Position yourself in a way that you have all those opportunities come your way, or else you can just become a trust fund baby, and you can trust the universe and it'll just keep sending you money.
Yeah,
that sounds nice.
I like that option. How do we do that?
What's your course on how to do that?
Yeah, we got on board you into the mentorship program on how to get money from the universe, Saket.
How to become a trust fund baby.
Yeah, screw everything else. All the other options suck. I want that one.
Yeah.
Step one: be born in rich family.
But if you think about it, like the universe thing, it's kind of real, like if you have that frequency, like for me, like when I change my frequency as a business owner and whom I'm surrounding myself with and what kind of conversations I'm having, like the frequency is going to change of whom you're going to attract and what opportunities are going to come your way. So in that context, like the universe will only reward you if you kind of help yourself enhance that frequency, have that skill level, and make that move, into those network positions. Like right now, I'm just meeting with 9-10 figure entrepreneurs all the time in Bali, and I'm not even trying. Universe just puts these people in a way, but I'm making some frequency change. So that'll be my answer.
Nice. Some philosophy here today, which is pretty. I think this is the first time no. It was the second time we tackled something philosophical. The first time and the last time was something about Stoicism on behalf of Nick Altimore of Sir Links-a-lot.
Yeah. I think in Chiang Mai we had a big conversation on stoicism, and I just disagree with it, and and he's a massive fan, and he's like, and we just kind of like meeting in the middle, and it was so funny. Like,
I should get both of you on one episode one time at some
I mean,
point.
Gregory can get really deep as well. He's holding himself back,
I'm a positive nihilist, so bring me in. I'll come in like a wrecking ball to everyone.
We should do a philosophy special,
I think Gregory has this online image, like of, being this, fun to talk to, jokester, but offline he's just like, okay, let's go deep,
Here's a shout out from Stephen Cannon. I surely need that frequency tuning training with Saket.
Oh, hey, Stephen.
To take it back to the things Saket was talking about, I was just looking up the name of the book I read. It's called The Source, and it's all about how changing your mind actually helps change neurological pathways in your brain. So they actually use actual real scientific data. And basically what happens is when you put your mind to something, if you visualize things, your brain thinks that you are actually doing the things you're visualizing. So if you actually can use visualization to help yourself in business and in life and in other ways, and she cites multiple like actual scientific studies. So there is a lot to it. It's not just, philosophy or, faith. There is actually real scientific backing to this theory. So I think it does work. Maybe not for me personally, but
well, there's a huge difference between philosophy and just philosophy,
Right. True.
Yeah. Speaking of like neurological pathways, like the things that you and all three of you in particular, and many other digital entrepreneurs and SEOs and marketers are put in today. The situation is that you have to adapt and evolve and build those new neurological pathways, because otherwise you won't survive in terms of business in the first place. So yeah, it's all right there.
And also like, if you think about like the human design, like how we like came into existence, like just having this conversation, like all the cells in our body are evolving, and they're evolving all the time. So in a way, we are kind of having a conformed view of who we are as individuals, but everything is evolving all the time, the nature, the cells in our body. So if you're not going to evolve, on a mindset perspective, and only our cells are going to evolve, then it's just like against the law of nature. So I think we have to evolve, and that's a skill that needs to be learned, and taught today in universities and for students. I was not taught when I was in school. I was taught to be conform to the society. But yeah, like this should be the approach for the new gen.
Yeah, you got to be a good misfit.
All the cells, I think it's all the cells in your body change within 7 years. So every 7 years you become a completely different person. If I remember the statistic correctly.
Yeah, it's probably 7 or 8 years, something like that.
Not all of them, but most of them changed in 7 years.
Okay.
I actually looked into it once because I was curious. There's this video game called Soma I'm really into that talks about this issue, the continuity problem. For sure I mentioned it, Saga, when we were having our philosophy talk, but yeah, like most of your cells change in 7 years. But like the whole game is about a guy who gets into AI and finds out he's not who he thinks he is, and it's wild. I highly recommend everyone to Google YouTube it. It's worth your time.
Yeah. Work-life balance or work-life integration? What works best for you guys? Work-life balance or work-life integration?
Yeah, what is that?
Okay, there are like two approaches. Like work-life balance is that when you balance your like personal life and work life, just so that it neither hurts the other. And work-life integration is something hugely, let's say, I wouldn't say promoted by, but like pivoted to by James Dooley, for example, Kazra. It's like just integrate your life into your work and vice versa. So it's like a combination of two rather than try and balance it. So what works best for you?
For me, I think like the work-life balance thing is kind of, it's kind of old school, like it's just when the 4-hour work week came out, like Tim Ferriss times, and for me, most importantly, it's about like how authentic you are as an individual. If you're going to show up in business, if you're going to show up in life, if you're going to show up with your relationships, with your friends, with your parents, with your family, whatever, how authentically you can show up, and your authenticity will just create that balance of who you are as an individual. So for me, I don't have to like think about work-life balance. I know who I am in different scenarios, and things just happen, in those scenarios for me. I don't know what's it for you, Victoria and Greg.
Don't be shy, guys.
I'm really big on never wanting to be described in one sentence. If somebody can say, "Oh, she's a CEO," or "She is an SEO," or "She's just somebody who reads a lot," or "She's somebody who lives in New York City," like I feel like those things make you very limited. And I think as human beings, we have unlimited potential, right? So yes, I work a lot, but I'm also a really good parent. I'm also a really good friend. I read over 100 books a year. I travel a lot. I think trying to even balance things, I think that's putting a limit on ourselves. That's why I was joking with you. I was like, what's that? Because we don't need to balance things. We can do extraordinary things as long as we have the correct support system and willing to put in the work, right? So I don't like cooking or cleaning, so I don't do it. I have somebody else do it because I'm in that position. So that gives me more time to do things like reading and traveling. And so you can outsource a lot of things you don't want to do in your life so that you could do more of the things you want to do. And I look at it that way at entrepreneurship, running my company, and also at my life as well. So I think you can have it all. And I'm thinking it's a balance.
I agree with both of you. I think it depends on where you are in life too, but I think every human who wants to grow and expand and do something ambitious, you have to go through seasons of obsession. Like there's the whole hustler culture, which I don't like at all, but they get like some of it right, I think. Like, or if you're just starting out in your business, you got to be obsessed. It's everything. It is your life. You have nothing else until you get to a certain point. You got to know how to draw that back to Victoria's and Saket's point. So yeah, I think people have to go through seasons of obsession to get to where they want, but they also need to know how to turn it off, because that's a very unhealthy way to live for a long time. So in terms of the work-life balance versus integration, I guess I would be more integrated. Like, most of my customers are my friends, and the ones that aren't, I usually tell them don't use us again because they're kind of dicks. So like, don't become my customer again. Like, we have a policy at EF not to work with assholes. So like that, like everyone I work with for the most part are pretty cool people, buying and selling a business obviously is a very emotional process, but that's normal. So like most of my friends are like part of my business as well. Like last weekend, I was at a villa that of a SaaS entrepreneur that I've been trying to get him to sell his business with me forever. He's a friend of mine, and we had barbecue together. So I don't really view that as like, oh, work is encroaching on my work-life balance. It's more like me annoying a prospect, like, check out this new poem I wrote. Why haven't you liked this on Facebook yet? So I'm pretty integrated, I guess, with my social life and work.
Yeah, nice. Very, very insightful. Like a lot of things you have to, like me personally, and probably, if not all, some of the listeners, a lot of things to process. And yeah, that's pretty much the tendency I've seen in this community, like SEOs and digital entrepreneurs, like surrounded. And not surrounded, but probably like circling SEO, let's say. It's like doing it the way you guys describe in general. Getting back to the shiny object syndrome, since this is like a big issue for a lot of people, like I don't know. Well, for me myself, for example. When I started doing these, hosting these live streams, not even before that, I've been hosting a podcast, which was releasing once in a month or month and a half, just didn't catch on the on the vibe, because there were like huge pauses between every conversation. But since I started hosting this live stream, doing it on a weekly basis, at some point I started to feel this itch of, I should try and do an affiliate website. I should just dive into SEO and stuff like that, because I always talk to people like you, who are massively successful, who run great businesses, who have an extremely deep understanding of how things work and what should people do to grow their online businesses. But so that was I now realized that was a shiny object syndrome for me, and the only thing that saved me from it was the lack of time and some and partially laziness. What helps you to keep yourself away from shiny objects?
That's
But
go on, Greg. Go on.
oh, I was going to say, if you have shiny object syndrome, which like I totally get, I see literally dozens of business a week, and like, wow, I can't believe that's a business. That's amazing. I see that all the time, and I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of like cool stuff with EF, and I think the cure to shiny object syndrome is understanding I want to do everything, but narrowing down the broad focus, but I'm only going to do this thing until this season is over. And then you expand outward that way. Like, I think entrepreneurs in particular, we're like cracked up cats. Like, we want to just do everything. There's so much opportunity, right? Like what Viktoria and Saket were saying, but like, you can do everything, but you can't start doing everything. You got to build something up first, and you got to build a team. And once you're able to build teams, then you can start doing almost everything.
Yeah, I agree with you, Greg, because for me, like a couple of years ago, I wanted to go after every opportunity, and I just didn't realize like I didn't have that mental bandwidth. Like I didn't have the capacity. And I started training, my mind, my body, biohacking and, meditating a lot. Like I meditated thousands of hours, and suddenly that space was created. So for me now, I'm involved in like 5 to 10 different things, and they're all doing like really well in ROI terms. And I feel like you can have everything. It's about the delegation. It's about the systems. It's about not what who who's your business partner.
Yep.
What's the most priority in what step, and understanding those steps and how to manage situationships, because there's going to be situationships that's going to come in every venture you're going to take. And shiny object syndrome, I find truth in it, but I also find falsehood in it, because you are limitless, and if you're not doing 10 things at the same time, like there's a reason to it, and there's a reason on an emotional capacity, on a mindset capacity, on a body capacity. You might be eating just shit food, junk food, and you don't have the energy, like like it could be that like subtle.
Yeah, there's a guy, the guy who wrote, I'm forgetting his name. He wrote the book Oversubscribed, which decent book. I still think it could have been a blog post, but it's a decent book. I saw him on a podcast. He did a really interesting interview. He runs like 5 or 8 pretty big businesses. I think all of them are over 8 figures. And the guy is like, how? Like I barely have time to run my own. And the guy said like, well, it's actually easier to run multiple businesses than more than one, because like the systems you set up for it all, right? The teams you have, the delegation, and the fact that like I can't spend all my time focusing on the copy on this one business when I have like 8 others. I also need to do a bunch of different stuff. So you learn how to let go. And I think for the entrepreneur who wants to do everything, one of the primary ways to do that is learning how to let go to your team, your processes, your automations, all that kind of stuff.
Totally agree with you guys. I really love what you said, Greg. You can do everything. And what I would say is I would add to that, but not at the same time. And certainly not when you first start off. Saket,
definitely. Yeah.
Great point. A lot of people don't have the right kind of energy because they're not feeding their bodies the right way, right? They're not eating enough protein. They're eating too many carbs. That shit makes a huge difference. You think it once, Try it for a week and come back, because it makes huge difference in your energy levels. So like I'll wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm great for the entire day because I'm working out and because I'm eating well. And that didn't used to be the case. Like it really does make a big difference. But I have ADD and I don't take meds for it or anything. And what I do is I'll pick out 3 to 4 goals per 1 year, right? So it'll be like a big goal. Like I want to make X amount of money. I want to diversify into this field. And then I'll do projects with that fall within that goal. And every week I will say to myself when I plan the week, what can I take off my plate so that I can focus on my goals? Can I hire another person? Can I designate another project? Can I train somebody? Can I not do this specific task because it no longer needs to be done? And you have to stick to things. You can't switch because you think you have a better idea. You can't switch to things because you have a better idea. You have to at least commit for
kills a
some
great
time.
business as the next idea.
Yeah. So even if you commit for 6 weeks or 3 months, whatever the right cycle is for you, stick to it. But you don't have to just do everything yourself. You should be outsourcing everything you possibly can. The only thing you should be doing is the things you bring, the unique things you bring. And I don't care how much you believe in yourself, you're not that unique. There's only a few things that are truly unique about you. So focus on those core competencies and give some other people a chance to do the work that they could do just as well as you. But I think it's a very entrepreneurial thing, right? To be able to do lots of things at the same time. Just focus.
Yeah, and great point, Victoria. And I just like to add on what you said. Like you said, you have ADD. Like I would disagree because you might have symptoms of ADD, and I also had symptoms of ADD. And if I believed I had ADD, I would limit myself until now, and being that, attention deficit, kind of like stream for me, like I was just curious, like why my ADD symptoms just kick in this time of the day with this project or this person and, whatever. And with that curiosity, like these things could be dissolved, like just my perspective.
That makes total sense. So ADD is a bit of a misnomer. It's actually not attention deficit disorder. It's you have trouble designating your attention to certain things, which means you also have an ability to hyper-focus, which is, I think, is a superpower, right? So you can take a project and you can just be absorbed in it, and everything else, the entire world goes away, and that's a superpower. So it's a lot about reframing. It's not necessarily a bad thing as long as you use it for your own good. You can make it work for you. So I know there's a lot of people out there who are like, well, I have ADD, I have trouble with attention. You just don't know how to make it work for you. And I actually prefer having it. I think it helps.
I actually meant in a hyper focused way.
Right.
For me, like I had those symptoms, I could just like focus, deep inside, and I realized like I was not taking time for myself. I was not going for those beach walks. I was not introspecting. I was not reflecting, and I would just like get sunk into this screen until it went away. So yeah, that's my perspective.
So you're pretty
A
much
little bit of
getting
neuroticism helps everyone.
But it also
an obsession.
the best way you solve problems is actually by stepping away. That's why meditation is such a miracle, because sometimes how you're in the shower and you're like you were thinking about something and totally unrelated, and you're like, oh, I get it. That's what meditation does for you, except you can control it. So yeah, I'm agreeing.
From SEO to meditation, let's start this.
And also, don't forget the universe will go with your brain. So we covered a lot of things here. It's almost like we all are a little bit on the spectrum.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
SEO is a weird field to be in, right? Like probably are.
Yeah, and we're pretty much like totally in line with this conversation's topic. Well, like from SEO hustles to harmonious and entrepreneurships, right? Entrepreneurship. Steven says he has a question for everybody, but he's not asking it. So go on, Steven, just ask the question.
Yes. Cliffhanger.
Speaking of harmony, like, do you think you're like in a harmonious situation, business, work, whatever wise? If not, it, yeah, if not, what do you think will it take for you to get to this, uh, yeah, to that harmony?
I'm
And if
not sure
yes,
I understand
why?
the question.
Huh?
I don't know if I understand the question.
Okay, well, okay. Let's start with this. What
I think
is
I understand. Yeah.
harmonious in entrepreneurship for you? Like, how do you understand it? Like, what is the image of harmonious entrepreneurship for you, in particular, for each one of you? And if you're there already or not, and what will it take you to do to get there?
Yeah, great question, Vlad. I'd say it's about understanding that there's going to be chaos around you all the time in business, in relationships, with nature. Something's going to happen with your, villa lamp. It's going to kick off, and it's about how you respond but not react. And that's a skill we need to learn as individuals, because we always in reaction, we always complaining, we always like blaming things onto the environment or the Google algorithms or the people we work with. It's about like how you respond if a situation comes and it's chaotic, how you can respond in a way that it gives you more power in your own authentic ground. And I think that's, for me, is a real
Harmonious.
harmonious situation. So
Nice. Deep. Okay, Greg, Victoria.
Um,
Go ahead,
I'm
Greg.
all about discordia, disharmony. How can I make things more fractured in my life? That's what I gun for. No, I think reaching a state of harmony, like, it's kind of what Saket said. Like, a state of harmony doesn't mean there's no challenge and there's nothing bad happening. Often there's many bad things happening, but I think if you reach that state, it's kind of like you're gliding through it all. Like, nothing is really stopping you. Like, yeah, you're getting snagged, but you can work through all these things, and you're in a place to solve problems, like a headspace to solve problems, right? And it feels good, because it feels good, like, solving problems. So I think if someone wants to feel in that space, I think the like, if you put in a goal, like productivity kind of thing, I think ask yourself, am I moving a step ahead to building something I want? And am I doing that every day, right? Like, and I think even small steps every day help you get there. If you're in a place that is in discordia, where it just feels like everything's falling apart, then I would recommend doing some meditation. Like, I meditate every day. I think meditation is one of the great unsung heroes of mental health, and it is one of the most powerful things you can do, whether it's either in business or just personal life. So if things don't feel in harmony, it's probably because you're in a bad mental space. You need to step out to come back to it at a later date with those shower thoughts or whatever comes up during your meditation, right? So you can get back to gliding towards building what you want to build.
Those are great answers. I would add to it a couple of things as well. If you truly feel imbalanced and you feel like you're depressed or you're anxious, there's nothing wrong with seeking professional help, right? Meditation is wonderful, but so are psychiatric drugs should you need them. And there shouldn't be a stigma associated with that. If you truly wake up and you feel unbalanced and you feel whatever, those are legitimate things to do. For me, being in balance is not just about entrepreneurship. So, you know how they say you should have a reason to wake up in the morning? I don't want just one reason to wake up in the morning. I want 20 reasons to wake up in the morning. I want a great family. I want a great career with brilliant people and tons of money. I want to have, I want to go to Broadway, and I want to have the best food, and I want to have the best body. So those are all things to me that make you a balanced person. You can have it all. You just can't, you just have to work on it one thing at a time. And just doing only entrepreneurship, if that's your only reason to wake up in the morning, to me, that's not having a balance. You should have a lot of other things in your life. Money is not be all end all. It's a hell of a lot easier to be happy with money than without it. And anybody who tells you otherwise is a fucking liar, right?
Yeah.
Or has never been poor and doesn't know what it's like to be truly poor. But that's not the only thing you should do. So you have to try to design a life that you truly love and that you truly look forward to every moment of it, not just some moments of it. And it takes work, but it's totally doable. It can be done.
Wow.
You reminded me of what you said that Victoria reminds me of some of my friends. They'll give me shit for I read a lot of novels. I read, like, similar to you, I read like 2 to 5 books a week. Sometimes mostly business books, but often fiction. And like, oh, it's such a waste of time. It's not very productive. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, well, I just feel bad if I'm not doing anything for my business. Like, dude, you're telling me this at a club at 2 a.m. What are you doing for your business right now with me? like, what's going on here? Like, you're going to stay your business with me right now? Like, I think it's very important to have a balanced lifestyle, where you're more than just your business, right? Like, I help people in the entrepreneur space all the time. I'm a big marketing nerd, but I'm also a big literature nerd. I know a weird amount about Victorian literature. if you ever want to ask me about it, right? Like, the way I see it is, like, when you retire, say 40 years from now, when you retire, what are you going to do? And if the answer is like, I don't know, then you probably have too much of your identity wrapped up in your work. Because the answer you should have a lot of different things you want to be doing, right? There should be tons of different things to fill your calendar with.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are not going to retire, at least not voluntarily. I think we all love our job so much that we will continue to do it in some form, whether it be in a mentor or Odys or, some way. But, it makes us well-rounded people. I think we're very lucky to be here. We're very, very blessed to have this lifestyle and to be in an industry that's, this welcoming and supportive to newbies.
Wow, amazing positive vibes today. Love it. Okay, so here's the question from Steve. So in terms of maintaining work-life balance or integration, the Japanese culture does it best. Have you all heard about forced bathing to manage stress levels, get energy levels back up, and having that much needed balance? This is his question.
Yeah, forest bathing is a big phenomenon in Japan. It's actually a word that only originated in the 1980s, so it's not a very old word. But what it means is when you're with nature, you can be more calm. Nagomi is another similar word in Japanese, which basically means maintaining a balance in life. Again, this is. I know a lot of facts from just the books that I read, but going out into nature is certainly a good way to meditate as well. If you have trouble sitting and having a meditation, going for a walk and trying to empty your mind is a fantastic way to solve a problem. I could swear to it. And yes, forest bathing is a great way. It just means to go outside in the forest and just enjoy the nature and be present rather than listening to an iPod or having a conversation. Listen to the fucking birds and the bees and whatever else is down there.
Or do some psychedelics, get some mushrooms, awaken your consciousness.
It's totally legitimate. It really does work. It really does work, and it does create new pathways in your brain. They've studied this shit. Just be careful. Don't do it on your own, please. Unless you know what you're doing, because that's how you die.
I've done a lot of both of these growing up in Alaska, so I guess I would agree it works. I never heard the term till now, but yes, I think forest bathing is fantastic. Both ways they suggest it.
You're too far from. I live in Brooklyn. I'm really far from a fucking forest over here, but I'm really close to all kinds of drugs. So.
Yeah. You guys will have to come up to Alaska, hang out with my family up there when I go in the summer. We'll do some forest bathing.
That sounds fun. I'm all for that.
A little cold.
In the summer, it's okay. Fine. It's like 50s, 60s.
Yeah, it's
not
like
Bali,
a chill
but
yeah.
And they have big bears and eagles and salmon. It's a really cool place.
Oh man, last year when I traveled to Budapest with my wife, it was the first time I saw the polar bear, and it's so fucking huge.
Yeah, they're big.
It's a monster,
like a zoo?
Yeah, at a zoo. It was that was a zoo, of course.
Budapest.
Yeah, they have a massive zoo there, and I was like,
I
can't even imagine like standing in front of this beast.
I saved my coworker from a polar bear when I was oilfield roughneck. Actually, I had to deal with them quite often.
Of course you did.
They're very scary.
So Greg, you
They're
might
very
know the
scary.
answer to this question. Totally irrelevant, by the way. Well, not really. Why can a polar bear never eat a penguin?
They're on completely separate continents for one.
Yes. But
There's no penguins where I grew up.
almost nobody gets that. Almost nobody gets that one because people start thinking of direct ways to solve the problem instead of thinking of the bigger way.
That's a good. Here's another one. What is the most northern, western, and eastern point of America, the United States?
Northern, Western, Eastern,
Yeah,
Alaska.
Actually,
I can
well,
kind of
pretty
give
much.
away based on the build-up. But yes, Alaska, because Alaska is the most north, has the most west, which is the Aleutian Chain, but the Aleutian Chain Islands actually go past the meridian, so it's also the most eastern point in America. So I'm the East Coast, West Coast, and North Coast of the United States.
There you go. You got the best of all coasts.
I might be the worst. It's pretty brutal out there.
All right, looks like
recommend
this
visiting
is the perfect moment to wrap this up at such a perfect nerdy note. Guys, it was a terrific conversation. Loved the way we've been like all around the place, tackling business, SEO, philosophy, and universe, giving us money. Thank you all for doing this, and thanks everyone for joining, for tuning in. Just tune in next Wednesday, for another great conversation. I will not give out who's going to be here next time, so just stay tuned. Follow us on social media, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or even TikTok. By the way, you can check out our shorts on YouTube and TikTok for some nice and cool snippets from this show in the following days. Guys, amazing. Loved it. Hope you enjoyed it too. So let's stay in touch and talk later.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure. All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.